Hey, how's it going, guys? So good news. We're gonna be looking at a game that actually does have some playability in it. This is Roblox Titanic Classic, and since it's in the title, you can also see it in the dates. You can tell this is a really old game. It's been around before I was even on Roblox. It's got a modern version that you probably play now and hopefully still works. We'll go ahead and check that out. And yeah, it is kept up to date. It's made a decade ago, but it actually works and probably looks a lot better. But here, this is really old. Okay, you can tell with the lighting, the screenshots, the basic, very basic parts, and in the screenshot here, they didn't even bother to hide this base plate, which I assume is a spawn or something like that. But yeah, you just essentially escape a sinking ship, and you would have these robots, you try to get everyone on, and you go away. But you can tell with the guns here, very old game. And of course, it's mentioned here. Unfortunately, it broke due to filtering enabled, which also broke a lot of other old games, and they would simply either break entirely or be closed down, unable to be seen at all, with the only coverage being from old videos or wikis. But I'm sure this game has a lot of coverage on the wikis. It's a very big game. 24 million or 25-ish million visits, and so a lot of favorites. I know these are pretty small numbers compared to like the ones you might see today. Many more millions and many, even possibly billions actually. And definitely a lot more favorites. But trust me, this game was really big for its time. You would see this on the front page quite often back then. Maybe not this game. You probably see the modern one more often. But now that it's changed, the scape of everything, you don't see games like this on the front page anymore. It's mostly simulators, obbies, or whatever. Not much has changed though, honestly. It was new when Tycoon started showing up on front pages, but obbies, not surprised. Simulators, they've been around for a while now, you're just gotten used to them. But yeah, you can also see this here. You can actually get a working version on this game. And I wasn't sure if I should make a separate video for this, but I guess if we have time by the time I finish, checking everything out, we can go ahead and hop into this game and get a more working experience. But yeah, this game is broken, just remember that. So if too much is broken, we'll just hop to the other game. But I do have faith that this game, will for the most part, function for giving that really classic effect. And also, unlike the modern version, this one has its badges for its classic version. And it's kept its little thumbnails for these classic badges very old, as you can tell. The lighting is odd on a lot of these screenshots. And also, you just tell with like the old avatars and everything like that. This one, I'm not sure how this image even got into Roblox. It's very hard to get decals into Roblox, but apparently this got in. But yeah, just gonna scroll through a lot of these. There's a ton of badges apparently, and yeah, it keeps going. Again, you can check this game out yourself if you want. I'm not gonna go over every badge because I actually only have just a few of these. I think only like 2, honestly. When I look through my badge inventory for this game, so we're gonna go ahead and hop in. Okay, so yeah, there is a whole lot going on. Okay, it did put me into the main game, so unfortunately I can't really get into the classic version, but I could still look at the classic version, one that's actually supported, and that's just as good, if not better. That being said, this game has come a very long way. Lots of detail in this lobby, whole lot going on, honestly kind of overwhelming almost. But you can see here, they got these things going on. I don't know what this is, but it's something. On top of that, they've got their own other games going on here, which you can check out if you want. A leaderboard, I mean, you can forget that in a game this old. Lots of leaderboards going on back then. FAQs, an update log, which seems to be slightly broken for some reason, but I'm sure they'll get that fixed sometime. And like, just look at the detail. Like, this whole texture going on, the conveyors. I mean, conveyors aren't a whole new thing in lobbies. A lot of old games have conveyors like this, but the detail, the moving, that's definitely new. Usually just be like a carpet texture that just moves you forward. Very simple. But this one, very complex. I mean, just look at this lobby, dude. Like, there's so much going on. And then they've got this little scaled down ship going on here with a lot more detail than what you saw in that thumbnail earlier. And of course, that little iceberg, the tragedy. But yeah, they've also got the Game Pass going on here, of course. And I believe this game does have a lot more to it, like the historic, because you know this is based on a real event. I'm assuming you guys know this. If you don't, Titanic was a real event. Ship crashes into an iceberg and sinks. Tragic. The unsinkable ship, as they called it, but of course, once they hit that iceberg, that simply wasn't the case. And the reason why I say this has like an educational, historic aspect to it is because of these. You actually learn about the whole Titanic going on here. But yeah, hopping into the game, for the most part, you just pick a spot. If it's not already in the water, it'll teleport you there. I think a round just ended, but yeah, the ship's fully intact right now, and you can see it's definitely really large and also really detailed compared to what we saw in the thumbnails. The lighting also isn't completely messed up, which is kind of nice. It's definitely a headache to see the lighting on some of these ships, and also just other games with messed up lighting. But lighting has come a long way in Roblox, so yeah. Anyways, it seems I found what I was looking for. I'm not sure what the difference between these two are. I guess once they transition to a higher end game, they ditch this one, which would have been, you know, well, I guess you could figure out the connection for yourself. But anyways, let's hop in. So yeah, now we are in the actual game, and this is a lot more recognizable and also a lot more simpler. You got the old base plate, you got the super old VIPs that they would sell in a lot of other games. I don't know if they have a box for the VIP where you enter a room, but it seems like you just purchase the Game Pass and it gives you these things. But yeah, as for spawning, well, you can see someone's already in the game, so apparently this has been running for a bit now. And also at the text here, very old text. I don't know what this is called exactly, but a lot of old games would have like this black bar going around with the white text going on like this. Anyways, the skulls, you might be wondering, what are those? If I try to teleport to those, I think it'll stop me, but yeah. Essentially, it's sunk, okay? It is in the water, it is gone, it is not very safe to be there. Stern, I'm assuming is that end of the ship, and it should teleport me. Yes, I was right, okay. And you can see for yourself, the lighting is, you know, taking a downgrade, obviously. This is the classic version. That right there is interesting. So those text bubbles, I think they're still around today, but you would have to actually click on those text bubbles and have a chat, interactable text bubble, essentially. Okay, it's kind of like, you know, for RPGs, they would have this, you would click above some character and they would have this thing going on, and then you can do this. But for this game, it's actually used in a different way, where it actually, you know, is an interactable thing. It's not like you're actually talking to the boat, you're trying to set up the boat, or whatever. Just an interactable button. I'm sure now they've gotten rid of this and used like an actual hook or whatever. You have to do this whole thing to release the lifeboats. But back then, that was kind of the easiest way to do it. Aside from, I guess, you know, having it unanchor once you press the button. But that's very unsafe, as it could just, you know, Roblox physics and disappear or something like that. Anyways, moving on from that, since we're on the ship, we can go ahead and take a look at some other things. Basic parts, there are mesh uses in here. It is getting a little hard to jump. Like with this little circular object. Actually, no, this does not seem to be a mesh. This is actually just a cylinder connected to a sphere, connected to a circle piece. I don't know how to call that. But the boat itself, very simple. It seems like the ship just split, so I should have an easier time jumping around. But yeah, a lot of this game, very simple parts, very simple premise, and yet still also very fun. You can see here with the teams, there's no captain. I'm not, oh, there it is. Okay, you have to use a VIP for that. And I'm assuming in the actual main game, you'd also have to pay for it, but they don't call it a VIP. Anyways, yeah, there would be these roles, and you just kind of roleplay. It's kind of like a roleplay game, but also just an experience. And it was also a pretty fun experience. It does get stale after a while, of course, because it's the same exact thing over and over, but the roleplay, you know, spiced it up, I guess. I myself did not spend a whole lot of time in this game, because I was more interested in other things, like actual RPGs, whatever like that. But it's not to say that this game wasn't fun. This was actually pretty fun when I played it. Of course, it's dead now. No one plays the classic version. They're all on the main version, which we will return to right now. And while we're on the main version, try to get onto the ship here. It doesn't seem like we just hit the ice. It's actually could just be slow loading, but I don't think the ship has fully hit and started sinking it. Now, okay, but yeah, now that we're in the ship, you can see that a lot more details gone into it. You know, like textured walls and everything. Lighting, the lighting here is definitely changed and isn't broken. the water actually has a movement texture that goes along with the ship. And yeah, there's a whole lot going on in this. Okay, I have no idea what this is. No idea what that name is. I have no idea if that was just saved from. I guess I'll have to look at that. But anyways, yeah, it is also an old Roblox game. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's made from Roy Stanford, but we can always go over that game another time. But apparently we just dodged an iceberg. I really have no idea how this game is. I guess it's possible to just dodge an iceberg. I'm very lost, of course. But yeah, I just really want to go over the detail and how much this game has changed. Also, it's got a point system now, so I'm assuming if you survive a round, you actually get points and you can spend that on whatever. I just got 400 free points for logging in. Very cool. But yeah, main focus isn't this whole main thing though. I just want to look over the classic version real quick. Unfortunately, I could not get into the classic version, unsurprisingly, and honestly, it wouldn't really be that interesting because a lot of it's probably broken. Someone just fell overboard, unfortunately, and I don't think we're gonna be coming back to get them. But yeah, that was Roblox Titanic for you. And honestly, if you want to see more of this main game, just play it yourself, man. It's probably way more fun and a lot more interesting than the classic version. At least I would hope. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.